Hey there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond with yet another Degrassi video, and this time it's another Degrassi case study, and this is the case study of one Emma Nelson. Emma was introduced into our minds as a character in the OG series, Degrassi Junior High, as the daughter of Spike, or others known as Christine Nelson, and Shane McKay. A chance encounter at a party saw Shane and Spike have sex, and sadly, though, even though it was Spike's first time, no, Spike ended up getting pregnant. So basically, what ends up happening is that she carries the baby, and of course, teen pregnancy in the 1980s was something that people didn't really talk about. So the Degrassi writers decided to make it that point. So basically, it brought the ups and downs of one Spike Nelson of having to deal with it, having a daughter at 14 years old. Of course, Spike's other half, Shane, wanted to be around for the baby, but Spike had heard reservations about it. Mostly, though, because Shane's parents, who included a minister as a father, basically wanted Shane out of the way. So they basically said they would put Shane in a boarding school and basically that they don't have to deal with him or Spike won't have to deal with him. But Shane basically says that they're only doing it because they're ashamed of themselves and that they can't do the events that they can do. I mean, I can understand it because, as a minister and having your son impregnate a young girl, I mean, like, I would be embarrassed too. But basically, Shane tells his parents that basically let him try to help out with the baby and all that because he wants to prove himself. So he does. A bit up and down. Shane gives up his allowance to Spike for stuff for Emma. And unfortunately, it all ended when Shane ended up taking acid and either jumping off a bridge or falling off a bridge. It was never proven which way it was, but he crashed, and his parents basically put him in a mental deficiency house. I think they just found their way out and just basically dumped him off so that they didn't have to deal with him ever again. So basically, that's what happened. But here's the thing, though. Shane did make an appearance in the final Degrassi Junior High episode, Bye Bye Junior High, basically coming in his little walker and all that, because he went to a school for mentally deficient kids. So basically, he does show up in the episode It Lives from Degrassi High. That's the one when Lucy does her slasher film. He spouts out random nonsense and all that, but it was kind of his brain damage and all that. So basically, what ends up happening is that Shane is never mentioned again after that, in a sense. And Spike basically has a few boyfriends and all that, and having to deal with a preteen with a daughter who needs her love and attention. So yeah, so Emma comes in to Next Generation. People thought that when they didn't wanted to do a new Degrassi show, it should be based off of Emma because she was part of Degrassi High and Junior High in a sense. So basically, they followed her exploits through middle school, through high school, all at Degrassi Community School. We got to meet a lot of characters and all that with her. So basically, in season 1 of the show, Emma is portrayed as environmentalist and all that, especially in the premiere episode called Mother and Daughter Reunion, when she hooks up with a boy over the internet named Jordan, who shares her views on environmentalism. Unfortunately, though, Jordan ends up being a middle-aged man taking advantage of Emma. But thankfully, thanks to JT and Toby's intervention, the man is stopped in his tracks. Emma tries to admit her mistakes and all that. Now, she does admit her mistakes. Spike understands. Emma is not really that bad as a character in season 1. she did have a few major hiccups. One major hiccup was misunderstanding that Liberty, an affection by Mr. Armstrong, putting his arm around Liberty, didn't mean anything about anything wrong. It was just that he was comforting Liberty because Liberty was having problems with her math, her dyscalculia, if you will. And Emma spreads a rumor that nearly gets Mr. Armstrong in deep trouble, but Emma stops the situation, caught in his tracks. Emma had a falling out with Sean's brother at one point because Emma was upset over the fact that the school news, when they did a news thing about how to hate on certain individuals and all that, but Tracker, Sean's brother, basically tells Emma that it pays for education so that Sean can get quality education. But Emma says, but it's wrong to exploit people and all that for their own common good. So basically, Sean agrees with Emma in a sense. Of course, Sean and Emma were dating, and then Sean let his anger towards Jimmy get out. Jimmy, of course, took one of Spitter's ADD pills and basically stole a game-winning shot from Sean and basically proclaimed himself as the hero. But no, it didn't happen. So basically, Sean and Jimmy decide to fight. Emma gets in the middle of it, but Sean whacks Emma, and that ends the relationship, obviously. Emma also was having conflicts with Manny, her best friend, because Manny was joining Spirit Squad and all that, and Emma couldn't. Emma was upset that Spirit Squad seemed sexist, although Paige claims that it's not sexist, we have boys in it. But that's not the point. Sexism does not mean gender. It can mean anything else. So basically, Emma writes a story about how cheerleaders are perceived as being dumb, stupid, and all that. Paige is upset that Manny would be with a friend like that. But of course, Spirit Squad still happens, and basically everything happens. But Emma does eat some crow a little bit. Season 2, Emma falls in love with Craig, but Craig wants to go after Manny. Fair enough. And Emma also has the problems that her mother is actually dating her teacher, Mr. Simpson. I mean, they know each other a long time. I think it was just embarrassment on Emma's part about how people would perceive her if Spike had married her teacher. So basically, Emma is portrayed as being petulant and all that. But Emma turns around, in a sense. The episode, is it called Weird Science or something like that? But basically, Emma basically does a science fair project. She wins, and basically one of her judges ended up being Mr. Simpson. Emma feels like she didn't earn it on her own. And Liberty basically chimes in saying that, the Emma Simpson, Emma Nelson I know would basically just give up the award and all that. Manny was just basically telling Emma that Liberty's just being petulant because Liberty didn't win. But Liberty said that basically, you know what, false rumors going around. I had one. I mean, I know Liberty was probably being a sore loser and all that. But I mean, Emma thought about this before Liberty said something. So basically, she confronts Simpson. Simpson basically tells her that she won on her own merit. And Simpson had nothing to do with her project. So basically, Emma accepts Snake and all that. So they get married in season 2 and all that. And then, of course, Spike ends up getting pregnant again. And Emma is upset that Spike is thinking about aborting the baby. Spike then tells Emma that basically, I don't want another accident. Oops. Oh, Emma. Well, Emma has a right to be mad, but not so mad that she wants to destroy Spike. So she tells Snake about the thing, basically saying that, it was the right thing to do. In a sense it was, and in a sense it wasn't. So basically what ends up happening with it is that they both agree they should have the kid. And I think Emma wanted a sibling. She wanted to take responsibility for things. And that's when Sean pops back in the picture with her in a relationship. Emma is okay, and then basically she has a thing with genetically modified foods and does a presentation for Raditch. Emma is upset, thinking that the school was not willing to give her a voice, but Raj basically said that the school board's budget is bad and that we're lucky to have a cafeteria. And high school students don't really know about budgeting and all that, how schools have to deal with budgets. So basically, yeah, I understand Emma's problem, but Raj did make a solid point. So basically, she passes out flyers, Raj takes them away. Emma was willing to wave the white flag, but unfortunately, they made some cafeteria commercial that triggered her, and she basically is upset with Toby and all them and starts a food fight accidentally. But Raj points out that the food fight was because of her flyers. No, it was because Emma accidentally slipped Toby's tray out, and basically, people took advantage of it. So basically, Raj suspends Emma for the rest of the day. Emma refuses to go, thinking that Raj is just being petulant. But no, Raj is just being reasonable. Snake tells her that. And so basically, she decides to protest off school grounds, even though that Raj was upset with it. But Emma's like, I'm not on school grounds. Yeah, Raj got triggered on that. Raj demands Emma apologize for everything she's caused. So she writes a speech and basically is ready to deliver it. So basically, she apologizes for the food fight, but she also says that no matter what you think about genetically modified foods, I understand. You don't have to agree with me, but it was my right for a voice. And basically, she tells the school that she's willing to take a massive suspension to prove her point. And of course, Raj is upset, not just because Emma didn't fully apologize like she was intending to, but basically that Emma would have the gall to tell them what Raj was up to, basically making the students rebel against him, as it were. So basically, yeah, that's what happened. Emma didn't really have any bad storylines other than that. And then season 3 pops up, and guess what? Emma is ready to welcome a new addition to their family and all that. Spike is putting them in the drills and all that. On the first day of school, Emma is called Emma Simpson by Hatzalakos. Emma goes, wait, it's Emma Nelson. And Hatzalakos said, yeah, I know it's on the sheet as Emma Simpson. Hello, feminism. And Emma is ticked off. I mean, the secretary knew that Spike and Snake were married and that Snake's last name is Simpson. But that doesn't automatically mean that Emma's last name is Simpson. So Emma, of course, asks about her real dad because she's like, I don't know why they call me a Simpson. I'm a Nelson through and through. Spike doesn't help matters by refusing to allow Emma any storyline. But Snake basically tells Spike she's going to find out somehow. And Emma does. Through alumni stuff, she finds out that he's in Stouffville. So she manages to maneuver Craig to help her out. So Craig and Emma find him, and he is in the mental deficiency home. And Emma finally realizes how she remembered him at 3 years old. It was at the mental house, and Spike was worried that Shane was going to hurt her. So anyway, they communicate, they talk to each other, and all that. Side note, though, the actor who played Shane was Jonathan Torrance in this episode, and he did a CBC show called Jonovision, and it actually brought back some Degrassi people from Degrassi High, Junior High, kind of a reunion episode, and that's what sparked debate for a new series. Sadly, though, CTV would outbid CBC for the rights and get that. So anyway, the next generation. So anyway, yeah, so they bump into each other. They end up having to get Joey to get them out of Stouffville because the trains stopped. Joey wants to know why they were in Stouffville. Emma says, to find my dad. And Joey looks concerned. Emma and Spike have a shouting match. Snake tells Emma to calm down, and Emma says, you're not my father. But then the next day at school, Snake basically tells Emma that the circumstances towards how things went and all that, about Shane and all that, and says that basically Shane wanted to be there, but his parents didn't want him. So basically he gets Emma to understand. Emma tries to call home and finds out that Shane somehow got to their house and is bothering Spike. Emma basically puts Shane in his place by saying that if you hurt my mom, we'll never communicate. And he understands, and he stops. And he actually knits to comfort it. All that. So anyway, yeah, Emma and Spike make up. That's good. Unfortunately, Emma would also have to deal with the fact that Snake is hiding leukemia from him. And of course, Emma would be worried because, leukemia is a deadly disease. So basically, Emma is worrying about Snake and all that. And at the same time, Sean decides to break off from Emma because, Emma doesn't want to spend time with Sean. But Emma has a new sibling and Snake to worry about. And Sean doesn't understand that. And Sean wants to hang out with people who respect him. All that. Emma doesn't like it one bit. Emma is still upset over the fact that Sean is with his gang and a new girlfriend. I don't know why that ticked Emma off. I think Emma basically was saying that Sean was worthless. Yeah, and Emma called Sean worthless. I mean, Sean is a nice guy. That like he could be good if he puts his mind to it. Of course, Sean steals stuff, I think, to impress Jay in the Candy Bandits. Emma's upset, and then basically, after finding out that Snake's laptop got swiped, she figures Sean had something to do with it. So basically, she tells Radish about Sean's thing and all that. And Jay did tell Emma kind of about the whole thing. So basically, Emma had the tip to go off of. They find nothing. Sean probably had sold the stuff and all that. But Sean basically was upset that Emma would try to send him up and basically wanted to berate Emma. But he also knew that he could get in a whole lot of shit if he went after Emma. So he goes after Radish. He gets 2 months of detention. Emma was with Chris at the time. Chris is upset at Emma because, Emma didn't want justice for Snake. She just wanted justice on Sean for moving on so fast. So basically, Emma realizes that and feels like she made a big mistake. But Snake tells Emma that, if he's a good guy, he'll probably forgive you. So basically, Emma spews her guts and basically tells Chris that, you know, Sean broke her heart and she basically took it out on Chris. So basically, they still date. Emma and Chris date because, you know, Emma has eyes on Chris. Manny wants Emma to make a big move on Chris. But Emma thinks that Chris has a girlfriend, says, I'm not going to do that. So basically, at the same time, Manny hooks up with Craig, who is Ashley's squeeze. Basically, Manny was being hypocritical. And of course, Emma was not happy with the way Manny was trying to sexualize herself. I mean, it's concerning, but Manny took it as a way of saying that Emma's jealous. Emma's like, I'm not jealous. I just don't want you to be sexualized. So basically, they break off as friends and all that, majorly. So basically, Emma also has to deal with Manny's being pregnant and all that. I mean, Emma is furious that Manny would get an abortion because, Emma was newly born herself. But Emma comes around to the fact that maybe she was out of line. I know that Manny told Spike about the baby and all that. I think Spike may have told Emma about stuff and Emma may have changed her mind. But basically, Emma tells Craig that I agree with you that you shouldn't abort the baby. But it's her body and her choice. If she was a total stranger, I'd be furious. I think Manny was shocked that Emma would stand up for her. But Emma is anti-abortion to the point. And then guess what? We got season 4. And Emma and Chris ended up breaking up over the summer and all that. We don't know who broke up with who. But anyway, Emma decides to try to break off Chris and Liberty because she's thinking, how would I be judged if Chris and Liberty have a good relationship? Unfortunately, Emma gets caught. Manny tells on her. And basically, Liberty wants nothing to do with Emma. Manny reluctantly does so too. So basically, Emma doesn't have any major friends and all that. And then she's put in the middle of the Rick Murray situation thanks to Paige and her clique. I think Emma wanted to belong somewhere. So she decides to appease the clique by basically joining them and trying to sabotage Rick. So basically, she stands in the hallway, refuses Rick to pass, saying that you're a terrible person. Raj tells Emma to move. Emma says, "We don't want him at our school." And Raj basically doesn't help matters by saying that this isn't one of your stupid crusades. This is real. I'm warning you. So anyway, um, yeah. So basically, Emma tries to help Paige out. They decide to do something that would try to cause Rick to leave Degrassi, but do it legally. So they do an orange ribbon campaign. Students donate, get an orange ribbon, and basically help out victims of domestic violence. All up and up, but unfortunately, Rick gets beaten up and basically bullied heavily. Rick decides to give his bank account to Emma. Emma says you can't buy forgiveness. And then when she looks at the check, and I know I keep saying this in other videos, but I fucked up. I didn't know that she saw the $500 and saw dollar signs and saw how to help people. Alex basically rips up the check and basically tells Emma and Rick off. Emma says, "You don't know about domestic violence. How would you feel?" Alex says, "Well, are you the one that has to deal with her mother crying in her sleep and help bandage her up?" Like, yeah, Emma has a point. Emma fucked up. Like, she didn't know that Alex actually had a point. I know Alex's heart was in the right place. So anyway, Emma is basically told not to have sympathy towards Rick. So Emma trips Rick. Rick goes up to talk to Emma, and then all of a sudden, the guys decide to beat him up because he thinks that Rick's going to beat up Emma. But unfortunately, Emma realizes that this cause is not its purpose. It's defeating the purpose. So she protects Rick. Everyone is shocked, and they say her cause and her friendship is over. Emma basically is on a lonely island, if you will. She tells Rick that in no way is she flirting with him or have affections. It was the right thing to do, and Rick deserved better. Didn't deserve that bullying. So basically, Rick took it as nice guy logic that Emma had a crush on him. To make matters worse for Emma is that Rick was put on the Wacky Brain team, kind of like Reach for the Top if you're Canadian. So anyway, it's Rick, Toby, and Heather St. Clair as Emma's teammates. Well, it would be Heather St. Clair, but unfortunately she catches Mono conveniently because she is a unseen character, and Jimmy somehow is put on the team. Emma tells Rick that he needs to get in sync with Jimmy because they're a team. So Rick basically does that. And, Emma's happy about it. But unfortunately, Rick makes advances towards her, holds her hand, whispers, "This is for you." And of course, things happen. Emma tries to calm Rick down by saying that no one's going to remember this. Everyone's going to remember us winning the Wacky Brain competition. Yeah, right, Emma. So basically, Rick wants to kiss Emma. Emma's like, "What are you doing? I thought you loved me. I pitied you. Get a clue." And then, of course, Emma was going about her normal day. And then, unfortunately, she was with Sean and Toby. And then, unfortunately, Rick came in with the gun pointed at Emma's head. Sean tries to calm him down, fails, and then they have a fist fight. The gun goes off. Sean may have gotten hurt. Rick may have got hurt. But we find out that Rick's gun had accidentally killed him and not Sean. Emma is spooked. Spike and Snake actually come by to comfort her and all that. And then Emma has to deal with the fact that Snake has it snit with Raj. Rightfully so, unfortunately. So anyway, yeah, Emma doesn't know how to feel and all that. And then, of course, even though in a few episodes she's portrayed as being okay, like she's fine. In secret, we find out that Emma's not fine. Emma's trying to hide the fact that she's suffering inside. Everyone thinks that Emma bounces back too quickly and puts pressure on her. So basically, she ends up being with Jay and all that, and that gives her the confidence to do a lot of things, even being part of Dracula. Unfortunately, though, when a gonorrhea attack happens, Emma realizes that she could have it. Unfortunately, the rumor spreads through the school, and Emma is not kissing her co-star because they all hate on Emma for that. Emma realizes she's terrible, and she basically tells Snake and Spike, well, to take her to the clinic, and then basically said that after Rick died, I just haven't been myself. I felt I needed to be perfect for you, and they assured her you never have to be perfect for us. We just want you to be yourself, and they comfort her and all that. Emma basically goes through the rest of season 4 in a haze and it went, but she's okay. Season 5 was a game changer. She finds a boy she likes over the summer, actually going to Degrassi by the name of Peter Stone. She wants to be with Peter. Manny even realizes that too, but unfortunately Peter wants Manny, and Manny tries everything in her power to get Emma to be with Peter, but no, Peter wants to be with Manny. I think because Manny's an actress. Unfortunately, Emma has to deal with the fallout after Peter exposes Manny with a video, and basically Manny's parents kick her out. So basically, Emma houses Manny with her and basically tells her no more secrets between us. Well, in a sense, wrong. Well, after Emma actually decides to try to destroy Peter for Manny, basically doing Manny a solid, she ends up seeing shirtless pics of Peter and actually feels enticed by them. And unfortunately, that forces Emma to be with Peter. Emma, of course, is hiding an eating disorder and basically not doing well in school and basically having issues because, Snake was caught having a tryst with Miss Hatzalakos. Now, of course, Spike is upset with Snake, not because of the tryst, but because he forced Emma to lie, but Emma couldn't lie. They do get back together, thank goodness for that. And even after Snake and Spike are back together, Emma still has the pressures. I mean, they put a lot of pressure on Emma to perform in the house with Snake's absence. I mean, Spike kind of has a hand in it, but you never know. And Manny says, why don't we lose weight for a role and all that? So basically, Emma helps her out. Unfortunately, Emma takes control of it. Manny feels pressured. She lost the weight she needed, but Emma doesn't feel that way. She basically feels that to keep going. All that. And then that's when she really loses control. And then finally, Manny blurts out that Peter and Emma are an item. Peter does find out that Emma has an eating disorder and is concerned about her. They have an intervention for Emma. Emma blows them off by saying to Snake, last time I checked, you made out with Peter's mom. And she yells at Manny, says, you're a drunk girl, and tells Peter, you take advantage of drunk girls. No, the order is to Peter, you take advantage of drunk girls. Manny, she tells Manny, you are that drunk girl. And last time I checked, as she tells Simpson, you made out with his mother. And then Emma has a panic-induced heart attack or something like that. So basically, she's in the hospital for a couple of weeks. She does recover. She does go with Peter, and everyone's happy with the relationship. After all, Peter did help Emma beat her eating disorder. Then season 6 comes. Sean comes back in the picture somehow. And basically, Emma is confused. Should she go for Peter or should she go for Sean? Of course, Emma doesn't know the full scope about the Sean street race with Peter. But she convinces Sean to go to jail for a sec. And so Emma is with Peter and all that. A lot of people are upset that Emma is with Peter. So basically, they convince Emma that Peter is not as innocent as he is. So basically, Peter was put on house arrest by Hatzalakos. And basically, he breaks it to go to a costume dance with Emma. Basically, Emma comes up with the idea for a costume dance so that she can still see Peter. But she still wants people to pay for a lawyer for Sean. And she's confused, saying that, why would I want to be with Sean when I'm with Peter? But then Manny tells her that Sean suffered and says that Peter put a mask in her locker. Emma's like, wait a minute. Peter doesn't know my combination. She forces a confession out of Peter, saying that Peter knew about the combination text to his mom and said that basically he needed to frame Sean so that he can keep the relationship going. Emma tells Peter, don't you ever look at me the same again. We're over. Emma rightfully breaks up with Peter. Emma basically goes with Sean, helps him out with things. And of course, she has to deal with the fallout from the JT stabbing thing. It's like, Emma had nothing to do with the JT stabbing. Yes, she had a lot to do with the JT stabbing because it was at her house at an illegal party that she and Manny threw for Liberty's birthday. And unfortunately, Lakehurst went after JT after JT being with Mia and all that. JT getting stabbed. I still say Nick had something to do with it. I think Nick probably wanted someone to hurt JT, but not stab him. And that redhead Drake Lampley probably got in jail for the rest of his life. And Nick probably got a lot of charges on him. So anyway, she still is upset that everyone's moving past JT and all that. It's kind of her guilt manifesting itself. Basically, she feels guilty that JT got stabbed in front of her house and all that. At a party she was not really supposed to throw with Spike and Snake out of town and all that. So basically, yeah, she's upset. But she's more upset at Manny because Manny does what anything to do with JT. And make matters worse for Emma, Manny is dating the Lakehurst student council president, Damien. Well, that triggers her. I mean, I can't blame Emma for being triggered about that. I mean, Lakehurst and Degrassi together and all that. And to make matters worse, Degrassi is hosting a cheerleading competition with Lakehurst performing. Emma is still upset. She finds out through Darcy, a former Lakehurst student, that maybe everything is wrong and all that. So basically, they protest against Lakehurst. There's a big brawl after that. Emma gets in deep trouble, but Emma says that basically they stabbed JT. It's their fault. And Snake says he understands, but basically you're taking your aggression out on Manny. I mean, the problem also is that Manny blew Emma off. And that basically, no, Manny blew Emma off because Emma wanted to talk to her about the situation. I think she didn't want to go see a professional psychiatrist or something like that. So basically, yeah, Manny and Emma do make up and all that. Manny says that, Emma, you try to make me the bad guy. And Emma says, well, that failed. Everything I do has failed. So yeah, so Emma basically deals with the bullet and the fact that Sean and her are together and that Sean leaves for the army. Wants to have a long distance relationship, but Emma probably feels that it's not working out. So basically she breaks it off. And then she's upset when Sean doesn't send correspondence to her. Of course, Emma has to deal with Lakehurst moving into Degrassi because of a fire, but she's not as involved in that part as she was in season 6. So basically, Emma tries to find someone to help the love void filled by Sean. But of course, Emma has to deal with Simpson being in trouble thanks to Darcy. Even though Simpson was kind of, Darcy did try to clear Mr. Simpson of anything. Snake was still suspended because they probably thought that Snake had pressured Darcy to say that, but Darcy was being honest. Of course, Snake doesn't come to school and all that. Emma stays to comfort him. Well, of course, Spike basically says, don't put Emma in a bad situation because she's going to have an eating disorder again. And of course, Emma's pissed off with the fact that, say your true feelings, Mom. So she helps Snake through the thing. And then she ends up being with Damien for some reason. And then, of course, Damien cheats on her with Liberty before the prom. And Toby basically calls Liberty out on it. Emma doesn't get mad at Liberty, feeling that basically Damien was the bad guy. So she realizes that Damien was the bad guy, not Liberty. So basically, she ends up going to Smithdale with Emma and Manny, and she's happy. I mean, with Manny and Liberty, pardon. And she's happy about it. The 3 best friends being together and all that. That shows a sign of Emma that we didn't really see. Of course, they have a roommate named Kelly, and basically they have misadventures. Emma, unfortunately, has the anger towards her because they call her blonde Emma, even though she's not really blonde. So basically, what Emma does, Emma tries to uphold her image as not of being non-boring, but it cost her dearly. Like she makes pot brownies and all that. And so basically, Kelly gets in trouble for them. Emma wants to stand up for Kelly, but Kelly says, I'll take the fall for everything. You could get expelled. So Kelly basically takes the fall for everything. he does get kicked out of the student place, but I think he finds somewhere else in Toronto. So yeah, so Emma and Kelly are dating and it's decent, and they decide to do a project called Recycle, like recycling old bikes and all that. They make it stop at Degrassi and all that, but Kelly has issues, especially with the fact that his dad basically is upset that Kelly's doing a project that's not going to give him financial gain and all that. And so Kelly is actually thinking about taking a job in the Yukon in the summer, back with his dad. And Emma's like, you can't do that. Now I figure that Kelly kind of thinks that Emma's trying to be controlling and all that. Like, Emma could be controlling. You're right. So basically, he breaks up with Emma and basically leaves before Emma does her big presentation at Degrassi. Basically, she comes clean and says that basically college is not as great as it sounds because Emma basically skipping classes to try to make friends and all that. Especially after Emma and Manny and Liberty both are out of Emma's life, and Emma feels like she doesn't have any friends. She doesn't have anyone to turn to for problems. But Spike and Snake, to their credit, actually try to calm Emma down and basically want Emma to think about her plans. So basically, she takes a gap year. She falls in love with Spinner. She marries Spinner. It's kind of strange and all that. It was supposed to just be a one-off thing, but then all of a sudden, in Throwback Thursday, in next class, she's still with Spinner. Huh. So yeah, that's Emma in a nutshell, basically about her things. There are also other things like the Degrassi Reddit community have made a lot of Emma posts in the past month. One of them was Emma moments that make you go, what the fuck? It says, the one that takes the cake for me is when she broadcast her and Sean's sex life in a class project despite Snake. Now, that was because Snake was a little worried about how Emma and Sean's relationship was going to be and all that. And Emma says that basically guys have this wrong perception about her being a slut and slut shaming. I mean, Snake was going a little over the top, but I mean, that's okay. Emma thought she was pregnant. Thank God she wasn't. Yeah, and then moments that make you go, what the fuck? Someone said when she started dating Peter after what he did to Manny. Like, why would you do that to your best friend? Exactly. Yeah, it's like Peter was not the best guy on the show. Really? Really? Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, so basically, yeah, they may have went. Oh, and Hocus Pocus said when she took off her dress in front of the school when she was a purple dragon girl. No, I forgot to mention that in season 7, in the middle of season 7, she ends up winning a competition to be Purple Dragon Girl because she wanted everyone to feel that she's not bland and predictable. So basically, she decides to go out for it. She ends up winning it, and she's Purple Dragon Girl. Unfortunately, she realizes the underbelly of things, and basically, Natasha tells her there are certain things you can't do as a Purple Dragon Girl. And Emma feels like she is told to lose weight and all that. And basically, she says, screw that. I'm not going through that again. I mean, Emma had an eating disorder and she realized it. Basically, she says that Purple Dragon sucks. And basically, they're making some strange remarks about the school and all. It seemed that the school didn't, like Mr. Armstrong said, Emma, please stop protesting. I think they were just sucking up to Purple Dragon. I guess because of the money, of the sponsorship. And then Natasha says, you can't wear that dress and say these things. Okay. And then Emma basically strips off naked. She does have a thong on, if you see it, the scene. Manny is shocked and then covers Emma up. Emma doesn't get in deep trouble. She gets detentions for the dress code, but basically Hatzalakos realized that Emma did have a voice and she was using her voice to her advantage. So she basically let Emma off easily. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They said that Emma woman, especially sneaking back from the ravine, and basically she tells them that she couldn't sleep. She was taking a walk at 2 in the morning because of the Rick situation and all that. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, people probably did that too. She wasn't sleeping. She was having issues, and she thought taking a walk would fix the issues, but it didn't. Yeah, yeah, the social disease and all that. Yeah, the pregnancy thing. Yeah, like season 4. At least I'm not getting pregnant. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's somebody. Someone made a great movement saying that over the top. What the fuck is when she publicly shamed Manny for having an abortion because she's pro-life. I know it's her opinion, but Manny's her best friend. Says, I don't recall Emma ever apologizing to Manny for her actions, yet Manny still stayed for her and was her best friend, even if Darcy could have been Emma's replacement. And Manny was there for Emma during her battle with anorexia, and Emma was still being a bitch to her. And Emma slut shamed her best friend. Well, I mean, Emma was just concerned about Manny. It wasn't slut shaming. It was, well, to people it's slut shaming, but to her it's just concern for her best friend. So basically, yeah. But Forsaken didn't realize that Emma came around and realized that she was being judgmental. Okay. Okay. Opinions on Emma Nelson from this person 12 days ago by Fritz the Rich. Fritz the Rich says that basically did some kind of opinion series. I don't think he really went that far. But anyway, my personal opinion on Emma, as he puts it, I was never a fan of Emma. She was the least favorite of the female protagonists of Degrassi, Emma Maya Claire. I found her to be judgmental and rude anytime she had someone's advice. But overall, isn't the worst character. Just not one I like. What do you have to say? And then people commented. People said Emma was annoying. She was a terrible friend to Manny, and she annoyed me when she told Snake that Spike was pregnant. When she dated Peter after what he did to Manny. When she was embarrassed that Liberty was going to date Chris after her. And when she called Manny the school slut. Someone says, I feel like Emma has a lot of ups and downs which make her feel human and more that she was a character. Yeah. So yeah, they said that Emma was really judgmental, hypocritical, prudish, a terrible friend, and problem starter. She was very tolerable. Someone did ask why is she judgmental and prudish. Well, I basically said about what about Manny like season 3 and all that. And then I basically said, well, your opinion depends on which Emma you see. There's the Emma from seasons 1 to 3 being uptight and judgmental and annoying. Season 4's zombie Emma who thought taking up a cause would get her in everyone's good books, but it didn't. Season 5's Peter dating, Manny stomping, I don't give a fuck personality. Season 6 to 7's rebounds, but bland Emma, and college Emma who tries too hard to maintain a good image instead of working hard at school. That, yeah. And Eiler said, I can understand why Emma's told she's annoying. She's opinionated, judgmental, self righteous, makes rash decisions, meddling with people's problems. You know, she was a vegetarian, passionate about the environment, fair enough, but she could be selfish and wasn't a good friend to many. All that. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people said that basically Emma and Manny's friendship, basically, it's like, why would Manny be good friend Emma, and Emma's not giving it back to her. Yeah. Yeah, she was throwing Manny out and had a panic attack. But she was upset that Manny told her parents about the eating disorder and all that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, I made two posts myself. I said, which Emma would you like more? And I said, from seasons 1 to 3, she was basically called the self-perfectionist and annoying character. Season 4, it was the all by herself and distant zombie Emma. Season 5's the screw you Manny, I want to date Peter type of person. The boy crazy, lack of causes, and need to have friends or else I'm nothing ones from season 6 to 9. And I said I was planning on doing an Emma's case study about her character development. Adam K says, I like season 4 Emma's the most. She was least central to the overall plot. And it says you can combine season 5 and the later seasons, one version. She was exactly the same. Not completely. And I said, in truth, she didn't go out with a guy to piss people off like she did with Peter in season 5. She went out with Damien, Sean, and Kelly trying to get a relationship, and that didn't piss people off. Praying Janta said, from an observing from afar perspective, baby self-righteous Emma is the most annoying. However, looking at it from a close friend's perspective, Emma is the worst after season 3. Okay. And then I put on a very critical one called Emma's Messy Love Life. So basically, I made a post like this. Emma has had relationship with Sean, Chris, Jay. I don't count that, but some people do. Peter, Damien, Kelly, and of course Spinner. And I found a correlation. In the time she breaks up with the guy, Sean, Peter, Jay, with an asterisk, and Damien, it seems that she is comfortable. But when the guy dumps her, see, Sean in season 3 and 6, Chris, I have a hunch it was he who broke it off with her, and Kelly, she wants vengeance on the guy who dumped her. And I basically put Sean in season 3. Emma knew that Sean was stealing stuff to impress his new friends for whom he dumped Emma for. So she tries to frame Sean and catch him in the act. She fails, but she got justice after Sean insults Radish. Chris calls her out on it, and she said she did it to get revenge on him for dumping Emma and moving on. Eventually, Emma admits her mistakes and apologizes to Chris. Sean in season 6. Emma was close to faking her pregnancy to force Sean to stay with her instead of being in the army, but she lets him go. But she's feeling that Sean didn't write back to her when she sends him letters. Kelly, when he dumped her for a job back in the Yukon and for being controlling, I swear Emma was ready to gain vengeance on Kelly, but didn't find him. And that's, of course, when she admits to being nothing but a person who lost her friends and didn't want to be blamed. And then Chris, I said, in season 4, they broke up. But Emma wanted to break up the Chris Liberty potential relationship and ended up with no Liberty and Manny, which led her to be persuaded to join Paige's clique to get rid of Rick. But then she loses that because the clique hated on her for protecting Rick. And Nov did say that Sean didn't dump Emma in season 6. She broke up with him. And I don't think she was trying to fake a pregnancy. And I said, I guess he had plans for the army and she didn't figure them. She didn't want to deal with his stuff. Is that what you're saying? Nov says he wanted to continue dating just long distance, but she ended it. Oh, okay. And Padme says she didn't fake a pregnancy. She had a pregnancy scare. I said, I knew that, but someone said that Emma was contemplating telling Sean she was pregnant to get him to stay for her. Which is wrong in a sense. Yeah, I didn't get a lot of blowback about the Sean situation from season 3 and the Chris situation from season 4. I guess they'll probably be part of unpopular opinions or something like that. Okay, I guess I can do that in the near future. Who knows? Okay, so anyway, thanks for watching this case study. There'll be more case studies coming up and more Degrassi videos.